Attention everyone, we're about to start the proceedings tonight. First of all, we have a speaker for our forum. Philip, would you like to come forward and address it? Thank you, Philip.
Good evening, everybody. I'm Lloyd with my background. I'll explain this. I'm going to put it up. I brought you all got a note of what I brought up before. I just filled in a couple of things. The section of Sweet Creek between Steel Creek and Wallace Creek is badly needed to be speeding. That's behind the school. It's a terrible piece of work there. As I said, 40 millimetres of AC hot mix to maybe a width of maybe 9 metres would be absolutely perfect there. The school license the kids I tell you, some of this, the old, some of the old sanitary lanes in town, the years behind the necessary maintenance. Since my first interaction with the council, I'm behind my place and seen some of the worst holes to live. But travelling up some of the other lanes back, very lacking a lot of fill. The footpaths around town are very hit and miss, one block the next. Take Smith Street, for instance, heading north from Young Street to walk from one end to the other. You have to cross the road to be able to access the footpaths. There are some blocks with no footpath at all. Why should residents, mostly schools, school kids have to walk or ride on the road? Has anyone ever been witnessed the amount of traffic on there before and after school times when making their way to and from school? At approximately 11:30 a.m. on the 19th of September, I noticed public school kindergarten kids walking on the east side of Fish Creek through the long grass between Wallace Creek and Steel Creek. That's across behind the Sky Hotel on the side of the road. The absence of a decent walking / bike track around town is a visible waste of some of the great open area around our town. Firstly, I would like to suggest a track 2 and utilising Alfred Drive from the southern end back to town in the northern side of the road to the back road of the showroom. Another area would be Wagga Road to the highway along the old Wagga Road and along the fence line is going the west end of Bath Street, that's down past the cemetery, or even keep going to the southern end of Hoppel to join up the western end of Barwell Street. The variety of routes around town are limited. As far as the idea of running murals on our own silos, it could involve the business precinct of progress associated with being involved. Painting silos in other towns in New South Wales has all been moved to tourist attractions for small towns. Finally, the second rain before the second rain started in the state park has for some reason been motivated by the direct flow of water to the southern side of Wallace Creek, and therefore washes out the driveways further to the west during rain events. This excess water can be directed to the northern side towards the unused line. That's all I've got. Thank you very much.
Any questions for Phil or comments?
I'll make a comment, Mr. Mayor.
Yep.
I agree with everything you said. In fact, some of the things you've spoken about, I've begun to work with the engineer to fix up roads and footpaths, especially around the school area.
Yeah.
But I agree with everything you say. So, and look, the help of drive walk track, it's all about money.
Yeah, I agree with that.
It's all about money, but that's one thing that we've have discussed, and it's been raised in the past, recent past.
It's only got to put forward.
Yeah.
No, it's out there.
Yeah.
Not stand through to the people in town. And the PCs are out there. So.
Yeah, yeah. Well, it's not imminent, but it's been raised. Yeah.
Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Nothing else.
Further comments?
Well, thank you very much.
Thanks, Bill. Thank you. I'll declare tonight's meeting open and remind everybody that it's been recorded. So what you say is recorded. So it's up to you to be polite on all occasions. I would ask Councillor Sewell to lead us in prayer, please.
Thank you, Mr. Mayor. Heavenly Father, we thank you for all your blessings. We ask for your strength and guidance throughout this meeting and thereafter as we look to serve the residents of this shire. We ask for clear thinking, sincere hearts as we approach the business matters we will be discussing shortly. We ask for your blessings upon this meeting, each participant and the work and people they represent. Amen.
Thank you, Councillor Sewell. Acknowledgement of country. I would like to acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional lands of the Wiradjuri people and pay my respect to the elders, both past and present. Have we any apologies for tonight's meeting or leave of absence?
Councillor O'Neill.
Councillor O'Neill's an apology. Move Councillor Wilton, second Councillor Linda. We accept your apology. All in favour? Those against? Declare it carried. We move on to the confirmation of the minutes of the previous meeting. Been moved by Councillor Myers, seconded by Councillor Wilton. Any comments or corrections? If not, I'll put it all in favour. Those against, declare it carried all the way. The action reports from that meeting. If you have a comment, please state the number on the page.
Page 4. In regard 6517 in regards to the Rotary Club and Hive the Wall, would that be now?
Who used to use revision to the Rotary Club and asked them to confirm they were happy with those conditions. I believe we've received response in the affirmative. So their whole process now is just with the committee now to run the event.
Been any further process on the Hendy Dam project?
Yes, Mr. Mayor, there has been in contact with the fire brigade, RFS. Been advised that they don't wish to undertake a burn on the reserve because they believe it would take extensive work to undertake the mop-up work to put out the stumps if that occurs, which is a bit disappointing. So what I've arranged for a contractor will be hopefully starting within the next couple of weeks, and we'll be slashing the reserve and doing a bit of clean-up work within that in preparation for future management of the reserve on a more realistic basis. But to ensure the fire risk is managed this year, the slashing area will be tidied up by a contractor put in by council.
Can I just
Yep.
make a comment on that? Can we make sure that's made very public, the situation that it's turned into? Because we were sort of led to believe from the start that the RFS and the fire brigade were going to manage that for us. And now that's going to be quite a big expense that we weren't expecting. And it's very sad to hear that they couldn't arrange some sort of voluntary system to help mop up or keep an eye on the afterburn situation. Thank you.
Nothing further in the action report. If not, we'll move on to the any disclosures of interest.
Mr. Mayor, page 64, engineering, page 62, item 2, page 66, item 4. Paperwork's completed.
Thank you, Councillor Forrest. We'll move on to the officers' reports. The first item is the double dwelling in Gindra.
I'll move the recommendation.
Been moved by Councillor Hicks,
I'll second that.
second by Councillor Linda. Any comments? All fair and straightforward, all in favour, those against, declare it carried. Second item on the agenda is the gymnasium to healthcare.
Also move, Mr Chair.
Been moved by councillor Wilkins,
Second.
second councillor Forrest. I think this is great development for healthcare.
Absolutely, it is.
They're very lucky that the form is right.
I just want to make a comment there, Mr. Mayor, and I was just looking at a weather said here, how you the town planner some time ago, to Luton and Erica. Will refer to your letter in relation to access to the above mentioned development road proposal in response to the proposed car parking area at 23 Bell Street has been withdrawn from the DA. Car parking permits start permanent public available use of on Bell Street. Should further development be proposed through 21 or 23 Bell Street, the adjacent lane item will need to be suited to council satisfaction. How do we get reading on that one?
Well, that was a different development proposal for that building. There's been quite a number of development proposals mooted for down in that area of town, and I was involved in the earlier assessment, but not this current assessment, and I discussed it with our town planner, and he feels that that in his negotiations with the discussions with our traffic engineer, that it wouldn't be warranted to seal it in this instance because of the different development proposal. The other one, the earlier proposal was for a function centre and for a medical centre that and would have had a higher use of the laneway. And he thinks that because in the conditions, the use of the rear car park is restricted to daylight hours, that it'll be a pretty minimal number of people will actually go up there. I'm inclined to agree for this kind of development. I actually think that the on-street parking are probably catered for it, and most people would use that over going up the lane. So, look, could I use a bit different of languages in that previous correspondence? If I knew it was going to get trotted out again, I probably would have used a less definitive way of describing it. But I think we've got to look at each development on its merits and its own peculiarities. And this particular development, I think that particular statement is probably not warranted.
I completely agree, and I did notice it today that the gravel at the top of the lane is heavier than right down through the laneway. And I had looked at Erica listening to the live stream right now and got that explanation. Thank you.
Mr Mayor, can I just make a comment? This gymnasium is something that's been mooted and wanted in Culcairn for a number of years. And I think this is great. It's a private enterprise development, and I think it's fantastic for the people in Culcairn who've been wanting it. And I think the development committee had it on their list of wants. So this is something that's going to happen, and it's great. And I hope that people support them.
You're right, what Councillor Wilson said, but with the library road, is it something we should have a bit of keep an eye on, in case it does become a problem? I know we can't do everything in just in case, but seeing it's been raised and that letter had been received, even though it's not this directly related, I think we should probably be monitoring that just to keep an eye on dust levels.
Through you, Mr. Mayor, I'd like to respond. I think our conditions do allow us to do that, and then so we have got that ability to monitor the situation and see how it's performing. And if an adverse outcome is occurring, we could do something about it.
No further comments. I'll put the resolution. Those in favour, those against, declare it carried all the way. Third item is the amendment to the Greater Hume Local Environment Plan 2012. Mr. Planner, what are these lot size down to? What's the minimum lot size?
Yeah, these allotments are all 2,000 square metre allotments, so they're still quite a big lot. This particular rezoning is probably commenced in 2021. It's been going for quite some time. It's just coming to conclusion now. The exhibition has occurred, has been completed. There was no public submissions to the exhibition, but there was a submission from biodiversity and conservation section of the Department of Planning that had to be worked through, and so we'll have to make some amendments to our wording in our LFB to accommodate that. But yes, it was sort of the size of the block for 2,000 square metres, and this area, these two parcels will probably end up producing about 150 blocks.
They will have access to sewer down the track.
Full service, underground power, roll top curb, sewerage, everything.
Last 1A blocks.
Not with recommendation. I'll second that.
And then Councillor Hicks, second by Councillor Linda. Any questions or comments? It's a big expansion to the south of Gingram. If not, I'll put all in favour. Those against, declare it carried all the way. Move on to the governance, the General Manager's Performance Agreement. We've all got a copy of the very lengthy document.
Move the recommendation.
Moved by Councillor Forrest, seconded by Councillor Linda. Any comments? If not, all in favour? Those against, declare it carried. Move on to the Audit and Risk Improvement Committee, the independent member report.
I move the recommendation, Mr. Chair.
Been moved by Councillor Wilton, second by Councillor Parker. Any questions or comments?
There are a few changes to the committee itself, to the structure. And this is just, I think we understand on those basically, to bring them into line with the new rules.
I could be wrong, but I thought they were going to rule councillors out of all of the committee meetings.
Through you, Mr. Mayor. Councillors can't vote, councillors will be invited to attend, but they won't be able to vote. That's why we need to have a second independent member.
Is that in now or is it coming in?
It'll come in next July. Yeah.
Thank you for that. I know it's been moved and seconded. No further comments. All in favour? Those against? Never carried again. The public interest disclosure policy, rating for new public interest disclosures.
Second that.
Councillor Forrest, second Councillor Williams. No comments, all in favour, those against, declare it carried again, all right. Move on to the first item on the engineers program. Moved by Councillor Parker, the recommendation.
Second recommendation.
Seconded, Councillor Moore. On page 61 of my business paper, there's a thing there that just doesn't look right to me. 9 tenders were received from Colcan Residential Subdivision Stage 1.
Through Mr. Mayor, yes, you're quite correct. That was a conclusion that wasn't meant to be in this report. Fortunately, it doesn't impact on the recommendation or the content of the report. And apologies for having missed that when we were doing our editing.
So the only one that noticed that.
You must be aware of it until you pointed it out.
Right.
Relevant.
thought there was something wrong with my glasses card, councillor Parker, when I saw that.
We were at my interest for anything.
Through Ms. Mayor, I'd just like to let you know that it was removed from the public report that went out. As soon as it was found out. I just meant. In regard to the section of the conclusion was removed off the public report that was put on the web.
Put the recommendation, those in favour, those against, declare it carried all the way again. Tender for the Yench Road culvert replacement.
With the recommendation.
Second, sorry.
It's been moved by councillor Shield, seconded by councillor Wilton, I think it was. Very good. It's very good action happening.
Good to see your business and the contract.
No comments, questions? If not, I'll put the resolution. Those in favour, those against, they're carried all the way. Provision of footpath, Uranus Street, Gindra.
On with the recommendation, no point changing the things now.
Been moved by councillor Hicks. We've got a second, councillor Linden. Any comments?
Just make that. Mr. Mayor, I just want to make a comment that another resident who was away during the exhibition period did put an objection after the closure, which this week, and I said I verbally advised that there was another objection on the landowner.
It's very awkward. We've gone down this way for a long, long time, and if you change directions, well, it's a perilous state of affairs. I'll put the resolution back in favour. Those against, carried all the way. Tender for the Serpentine Creek culvert. It's been moved by councillor Parker, second councillor Meyer.
I can't believe there's so much difference in the numbers.
Yes, one just a bit more than double, but it's interesting. But the good news is that we're getting a series of tenders for which of these jobs. Any comments? If not, I'll put the resolution. All in favour, those against, carried. We move on to the part B section of the paper.
I'd like to move that we just accept part B, C, and I think there's a D for memory. We're all in the block.
We move part B and C.
Amendment, Mr. Mayor, regarding item number 1, the employee number. Did the amendment change? Oh, yes, there. Can you read that a bit for us? Yes, well, I suppose there'll have to be an amendment. Is that correct, Mr. Mayor?
It will be an amendment to the recommendation on page 68, if that's the.
Yes, so my amendment is that the report not be accepted, that's this one regarding the employee numbers, and that the employee numbers report revert to the monthly report which was tabled in past years, which is a more fulsome report. That's all I speak of, and that's what my amendment is.
Been moved by councillor Wilton, second by councillor Parker. My comment to the mover and the second of the amendment is this is a operational matter. And the way I read things, it's not in our court. It's up to council to decide today. We've got a recommendation at the bottom of page 68, and we've got an amendment. You wish to speak to your amendment, councillor Wilton?
Thank you. Thanks, Mr. Mayor. Yes, I do. I just felt that the previous reports that we had were more fulsome. They were giving us an idea of what was going on with our staffing situation, who was coming in the front door, and who was going out the back door, whether they were resignations or they were retirements or what they were. Sometimes there was commentary as to, you know, somebody might have spent 45 years working with the council, and was sort of a method of sort of advising councillors of, you know, those sort of people who were employed by us. And sometimes, you know, people were moving on, and I just thought it was just adding to the information regarding the people who we employed. That was my thinking.
That's through you, Mayor.
Yes.
Mr. Mayor. Just a point of clarification, the only employee of council is me as a senior staff member. All other staff are actually employed by me to provide the operational activities for the organisation.
Further comments or questions?
But I'd still like to think that we're working as a group, that we can all, you know, like it's nothing hidden. And it's easier when we know if someone's retiring, that we can, if someone comes up to you down the street and says, Joe Blow's retiring after 45 years. We're not asking for names or anything like that. It's actually just having an open book about it. That's all it is. I understand what you're saying. But I just don't see it. Why it's a big deal. Sorry.
Further comments?
Yeah, look, I probably would have a bit of a different view. I just think we sort of got to realise what our remit is as councillors, and we sort of governance and finance. And I don't know if it's a particular any great interest to us that we go into the operations of the council. Admittedly, you know, to get a report now and again might be a bad idea, just to give us a bit of an idea. But I don't know that we need to tie up a officer's time with a report that doesn't exactly have any great impact on us as councillors and the running of our section of the council. That's all I've got to say.
Further comments? It is a fine line between operational and the areas that councils are supposed to deal with, policy and finance, but depends on who you are, how you interpret it. You've got a comment, Councillor
I
Shield?
was just thinking about when people leave that have been working for a long time. Don't they receive some sort of certificate or recognition at their staff gatherings? We usually somewhere along the line hear about that, so isn't that enough?
We don't, I don't hear about that.
Well, I don't really, no, I don't personally, but we did at one stage when they had their, you know,
Services.
what's the name, meetings. But I think just as long as we're not running short of staff in any one department, then we need to perhaps know why things might be done if we've sort of got some ads out there and they're not being filled. And I thought that those numbers just sort of explain, I was feeling more personally that is what Councillor Williams asked for, was the group of numbers, but I still don't agree with Councillor Hicks actually. It's not really an important.
Any further comments?
Yeah, we'll just refer back to the GM's newsletters that have come out since we've come on board. I'm seeing a lot more, I guess, the actual staff and getting a lot more information, toolboxes, you know, barbecues, sharing of information. It's been really great. I don't see the need for it. You seem to be all over the top of it and want to be pretty happy with that. Thank you.
I'll put the amendment. Those in favour? Those against? The amendment's lost 5-3. I now put the recommendation on the bottom of page 68. Those in favour? Those against? Councillor Myers against, and Councillor Parker. Anything further in the B and C section? If not, I'll just make a comment on our investments, certainly, moving along the interest rates. Very good news. Oh, I see.
I'm not sure whether we got a second. Are you seconded?
Any further questions? Councillor Steele?
Engineering the installation of the retained deposit scheme, that's great. Bonus. Hopefully everyone will be picking up the cans and bottles and everything seems there. We'll clean up some rubbish. Thank you.
I was just going to make a comment with, the RS Club putting in 9 charging stations for electric cars. At the back of the RS Club, 9, it was originally open before, but it's actually 9. The Tesla are obviously very confident that they'll be all used.
Can I make a comment? And ask Councillor Parker, what's going to happen to the drawdown on power when there are 9 of them all lined up there? Are we going to blow out the tunnel? Who knows?
I think they've spent a lot of money.
Oh, it's amazing. I've been looking at it.
Any further comments on the C and D, B, C and D section? If not, I'll put the resolution. Those in favour, those against, declare it carried all the way. That concludes tonight's meeting. Thank you very much.
That was a wiggle.
Yeah.
And not that, to
Uh,